7 somewhat years of us being a nation. We got the most landmass in the world and we ain't sharing. Welcome everybody to NSD on a Friday afternoon because I gotta work. I gotta work on Canada today. That's always been nice, but it's okay. We're here today to talk a little bit about the Buccaneers, obviously. We're going to bring in Yacey in about 18 minutes to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. But we're obviously here to celebrate Canada Day because I'm the big bearded ginger of the North, and everybody wants to see exactly what we have to do today, especially when Kyle's here. I like when Kyle's here. I like when I have guests. And I like it even better when we get to talk about what I want to talk about today, because I obviously pushed the agenda just a little bit on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the Buccaneers talk right off the bat. Well, before we do any of that, like, share, and follow NSD, because I obviously don't know how to do everything properly like I used to anymore. Okay? It's an order in which we're supposed to do things, Andrew, and you're not doing it properly anymore. Now you're going to make me, you know what? You can put the commercial. Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year? I mean, we've been talking about this team now for a couple of years. We're talking about the dominance of what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has been, but we've also been sitting there talking about some of these games have been really bad, if you really think about it. 9-0 to the Saints, an epic, turnaround of events against the Rams, where we inevitably could have been going to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Like, what happened? Obviously, play calling is a big one. And obviously, when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another big thing that you need to understand is we're actually still a pretty young team. Yeah, we still got veterans in places, and we got Hall of Famers like Mike Evans and Lalonde David, and obviously Tom Brady and Gronk. Like, we don't need to, even though Gronk's not part of the team, but he's coming back. Let's be real. He's going to come back at some point. He's not going to just let everybody enjoy this little ride without him. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot of young talent on this team. They've been doing a thing that I said they would be doing right when Tom Brady came in here. Obviously, bringing in veteran talent to put into starting rotation while also drafting young talent to allow themselves to be better for the future. Something this team has not actually had the ability to do in a long time. So with that being said, like, how good are we actually then? Because the last couple of years, if you look at some of these names, 2020 draft class, Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Tyler Johnson, all those guys are in the starting rotation. And then you look at the fact that 2021, we got Joe Tryon, Kyle Trask, Robert Hainsey, Jalen Darden, and KJ Britt. 3 out of the 5 of those guys are at least in a rotational role. And then look at the draft class last year. Logan Hall, Luke Gadecki, Rashad White, Cade Otton, and our punter, Jake Camadra, who allowed Mr. Bradley Pinion to go to the Atlanta Falcons so that Kyle could actually have some special teams. We'll talk to him about that in a little bit. The best part about this whole, we won a Super Bowl, and at the same time, we're building towards the future. But Todd Bowles is the head coach. This isn't Bruce Arians' baby anymore. Or is it? It's very confusing to understand what it is going to be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going past this year. I don't necessarily know. Does the team know? I don't think they even know. They know that they're ready to go for it one more time. This is a playoff team. You can almost put all of your money on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making it to the playoffs. There are just not enough good NFC teams out there to push the Tampa Bay Buccaneers even out of contention for the playoffs. Nor is there even enough teams in the NFC South. I'm sorry, Kyle. You can yell at me in 10 minutes. There's not enough good teams in the NFC South to even give us a good run for our money for our own division. Maybe the Aints, but that's about it. The problem becomes this. We only have Tom Brady for one more year. And then all of a sudden, Todd Bowles is going to be left with either Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask, who Kyle Trask may now all of a sudden have this nice, beautiful grasp on the system. The coaches and the whole entire staff and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and ownership and players may not even be talking about Kyle Trask because it could be the greatest secret of all time. Just like having Tom Brady on your bench, the greatest secret of all time until all of a sudden, inevitably, Drew Bledsoe goes down. Or in this case, Tom Brady retires. But I don't necessarily think that's what it is. See, what we have here is one more chance at redemption, one more chance at a title, to go for 3, to go for something that only a few franchises have. Denver Broncos are in that. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Kansas City Chiefs are also in that. But obviously, you start looking at the big teams and the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers, who all have multiple Super Bowls and have proven that they could bring in multiple superstars over the years when you start building that culture. Washington is in on that. Thank you, Sean. This is going to be something hard to watch this year, though. Because as much as we all want this to be something we want to see continuously and into the future, it's honestly, it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings. When it came out, it was here, it was in your face, it was amazing, it's and absolutely brilliant. Then it was gone. And it lives with us in memories. And to be honest, I don't want that. But when you look at some of these rookies here and what we've done, the first round or even say early second round picks that we've done, Tristan Wirfs, Joe Tryon, and Logan Hall, these all seem to be building up on the right path for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to actually be something in the future. But what is Todd Bowles going to do? What is Todd Bowles going to be in that future? Because now the second part of this show, this Bucs Talk here, is this really Todd Bowles' team? I hate to say it like this, but has this even been anything but the Bruce Arians show since he got here? This is his team. Bruce Arians has cemented his name now in the office spaces of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as his team. Todd Bowles is one hell of a player's coach. Always will be. But at the end of the day, like I said last week, BA came out of retirement for no other team in the NFL except for one. And I don't know if that's because all of a sudden he was given the opportunity of Tom Brady, or if it was just given the opportunity to make decisions for a franchise. Decisions that aren't necessarily just given to you by a head coach or by a GM. It's usually given to you by ownership. You don't make decisions on a young quarterback who is starting for a divisional rival, may I add. You don't make a decision against letting him go unless you're willing to pay the consequences on a major decision like bringing in Tom Brady. And guess what? Arians made the right decision by bringing in Tom Brady. So now when we inevitably have Tom Brady gone and we run this Todd Bowles system or whoever our offensive coordinator is going to be next year, because let's all face it, Byron Leftwich is probably going to get an opportunity somewhere else. What do? First episode of the new Dynasty season, I talked about us going into this and saying, what can we do with the quarterback situation? And I see people, this was Brady's team when Arian was coach. BA was here a year before Tom. Yes. And that's what I mean about that. Is BA got here and this is where he cemented it and made it his. Arians made the decision to bring Tom in. And that decision kind of left that a little bit, maybe a sour taste in his mouth because everybody's like, well, this is Brady's championship. Brady did all this because Brady lured in Gronk. Well, don't you think that the ownership and everybody like that still makes that decision? You know what I'm saying? And it's no shot at like Teresa or Ben or anybody in the comments, which I see everybody in there today. How we all doing? Happy Canada Day, everybody. I'll be bringing another Canadian here in about 5 minutes. Don't you worry. But this is this Todd Bowles' team? Like, the reason, in my opinion, the reason why some of these rumors are going out there about, Brady going to San Francisco or Miami or having an ever shot either a player or some type of personnel somewhere else is maybe because he's not exactly going to be given the full reins in Tampa Bay. That's already gone to Bruce Arians. Like, yeah, you won us the championship. You destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs. And I wish I had enough time, and I wish I would have been smart enough to put the picture of me crying when we won the Super Bowl in here, and I will. Everybody in the group chat who saw it yesterday, obviously. But, this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that we saw 2 years ago when we won the championship was amazing and absolutely brilliant. But now is slowly being picked apart by people wanting money, by inevitably other coaches going to get opportunities. And also at the other time of this, a new regime. But is it Todd Bowles' regime? Arians is scouting. And like I said in the first episode, Arians is looking for our new coach. Is he going to fully take Todd Bowles' opinion on it? Because we've seen what happens when Arians allows his coaches to take the reins. There's no risk it, no biscuit. We've had great games with Byron Leftwich being the play caller. We've had great games with Todd Bowles being the defensive play caller. But we've also seen against the Rams what happens when Todd Bowles can do that kind of stuff. We also seen what happens against, if I'm not mistaken, I had this written down, the Saints. The Saints with Byron Leftwich. When all of a sudden, Bruce Arians gives too much of the reins. Now all of a sudden, Bruce Arians is sitting at a desk. Bruce Arians all of a sudden now gets to be a type of GM. We all know it's Jason Light's team. He's the GM. But you don't think those guys aren't sitting at the same table smoking cigars and all making the same decisions on everything together now, just like they were doing before? In my opinion, this is not Todd Bowles' team. Todd Bowles, in all respect, is the mouth that will be from Bruce Arians to the players, which it always technically has been from team to team, but it seems a little different when it was a coach, not only a year ago. Bruce Arians is going to go get us a quarterback. I can almost guarantee you that. There's going to be something in this weird, molding off season where Bruce Arians is going to take some picks, maybe a player, and we're going to be able to send that over to a different team during the draft. We're going to be able to get our Josh Allen. If we get Richardson, we're going to get the next Lamar. And this is all just hypothetical right now before the college season. There could be another kid's name all of a sudden that comes out of nowhere that we're all of a sudden falling in love with here. But as I've said before, and I'm going to hold true to this, until I see a little bit more out of Todd Bowles, I need to see Todd Bowles take that reign. And in these couple of camp videos that I've seen, he's done a great job. But you can see the New York Jets still on his face, where he's just shell-shocked. He's got the reins of one of the best teams in the NFL right now. We all cannot deny that. Doesn't matter if you hate the Buccaneers or not, like Kyle does. He'll come in here and tell you in a little bit, about 2 minutes' time. You can hate the Buccaneers. You can love the Buccaneers. But also at the same time, this whole thing, this whole Buccaneers team right now, it's built. And it's going to be around for a while. These rookies are going to be around for a while. These names that you keep hearing, Todd Bowles and stuff, you can make fun of Todd Bowles all you want. Guess what? We're going to go back to the Buccaneers relevancy, where everybody likes to pop onto these shows and make fun of the Buccaneers and talk about Jameis Winston and Josh Freeman and the good old days of the 80s, right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about when it comes to the 80s. Good old 80s. 9-7 record in 81 being the greatest thing we ever had to look at. And I wasn't even born. Exactly. Some of these comments that I've seen here. Tim Witherspoon, Brady won the Super Bowl every other year since 2013. He's due this year, and we Buck fans get to live it up. That's the one thing in there. I see a couple comments. I'll get to those before Kyle gets on here. We got to live it up now, because it could be an absolute disaster and an absolute mess after this season, where teams in our division who have new head coaches, like the New Orleans Saints, and have a lot of talent on that roster, or you look at the Atlanta Falcons, who, in my opinion, we're going to talk about this in a minute's time here, 2 absolute superstars on their roster that were just basically given to them in the last 2 drafts. And all they had to do was put on mean machine type looking longest yard jerseys for 2 years to get them. And then all of a sudden the Carolina Panthers, arguably, like if they had someone to actually throw the ball, would be able to utilize a very underrated defense. We, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, need to enjoy this season now. Whether it's Brady or Gabbert or Trask, who the hell ever. We obviously know it's Brady. But who the hell ever's catching the ball, whoever's making the tackles, whoever is making the dubs happen, we need to enjoy it now. Because I'll be here, just like we always have been, to go and into this rebuild together. But it's not going to be another 18 years of us being out of the playoffs and into irrelevancy before we come back again, right? We'll deal with this roller coaster ride together, right? So let's get a couple of these comments here. I want to go right back to the top. Let's go. Show your beard. Sydney went to say first and even ended up being second. Sean Spencer says, can't wait. Yo. Washington is that is right. You tricked me going on during the day, Andrew. I know. I'm sorry. I got switched around on my work schedule. Even on Canada today, don't get me wrong. They're like, if we're going to bring in the greatest salesman on Canada today, we might as well bring them at the best time here. And that's going to be around supper time and around the late time when everyone's coming in and be like, what do I smoke for fireworks? And be like, got you, buddy. Eat some peanut butter cups. Hey, Kyle, you know what I'm talking about. This was Brady's team when Arians was coach. Brie was here a year before Tom. That's what threw me off there. I thought I had said something. It was like, wait, what? Happy Canada Day. And she says, good to see you back, Andrew. Thank you. I'm going to have to pop on. I actually have tomorrow off. I might have to sneak onto your show and say hi. Everybody's saying happy Canada Day. And then Ben says, come on. In reality, it's Brady's teams. Bucs wouldn't have been able to get Brady in here in the first place without concessions from Brady in his contract. Let's not fool ourselves, Bucs fans. It's not an insult on Arians or Bulls. They've been a big part of this team's success in the last few years. Having said that, without Brady, this is a playoff team at best. Brady wasn't just a team changer, but a culture changer. And I agree with that. Because I even said when the whole Phillip Rivers conversation was going into it, it was like, oh, what if the Buccaneers get Phillip Rivers? I'm like, then we're a playoff team. I don't think we're a championship team. That just means with the time we would have gone like 10-7 and maybe a playoff win. Like, congratulations. But no, yeah, but he was a culture changer. And we need that from the next quarterback too. So that's probably why I think Bruce Arians is going out there and looking for that kid. Yacey probably had an orgasm when his Burnside, our punter Bradley Pinion. Well, you'll get to ask him here in a second. But before we do that, we need to take a quick commercial because I need to take a quick drink, obviously. Everybody knows about that, right? A little sippy. And I need a little drinky poo, Randy. It's fine. There's just a little Bailey's drink. It's so good, Randy. All right. We'll be back in 1 minute with our guy, Kyle Yacey, to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and a little bit of the NFC South. Be right back. gentlemen, we are live here at NSD. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a shout out. Do whatever you need to do. Get the word out to everybody that NSD is back in town. NSD is back in town. D is back in town. I can't say the D is back in town because that
Why not?
Oh, maybe we'll put that on the back of the shirts. The D is back in town.
I love it.
I have a new design. I actually have to write that down. The D is back. I'm going to put some concepts out there and see if that actually works for a shirt.
Canada Day thoughts.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our man, Yacey, the Atlanta Falcons fan. That's right, Buccaneer guys and gals. We have the rival to the south of us, or I guess to the north of us technically, but in the south.
Yep.
We have him in here. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons because we don't just talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. No, we like to bring in everybody who respects and has cheered for every other team that's out there because this gives you a better perspective of the players that are on their team, who we got to play, when we got to play them, and how we got to play them going forward. So with that being said, Kyle, first introduce yourself to everybody out there and let us know where they can find you before we start talking about your Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me on, man. You know, it's always a pleasure talking with you about sports and everything, right? So, yeah, I've been a part of NSD now. I think this is 3 years, third year in, I believe, right? So
yeah.
So
this is third year technically, yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to think that we were talking about this in the lunchroom, right?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm still a little like chapped in a way that like things went last year and stuff like that. But like it is the way that it is, you know. But I'm happy that I was able to bring it back. I'm still happy that we've got some of the fans here. Like, look at some of these people out here. You got Teresa giving you love. Yeah. You got Sean Spencer's in the comments saying, "What's up, Cal?" Ash is in there saying Kyle's there. And then, of course, Sean says the D is back in town. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I think we're going to have to put that on the back of the shirt. So, and
yeah, no, so
Canadian show on the Spine Canadian.
So you can definitely find me on Facebook. Obviously, you can search me up by name. Feel free to add me. I pop into the NSD shows every once in a while, and Let's Talk Football with, you know, Sean Spencer, Janae Struther, the lovely Swintons, and everybody in the whole community there. You know, obviously, I see we're all trying to build a community here, and I love every bit of it. I love what you're doing, and I love the bounce back after last year, man. So it's a pleasure to have you and see your smiling face.
I know. I appreciate it. So, and speaking of smiling faces, a lot of you Falcon fans are actually starting to look a little bit better here. Like, You've had some interesting times. Obviously, Matt Ryan is not part of your team. You've had a couple of years where it's been, say, respectively rocky, but also at the same time too, it's been looking pretty positive out there. So give us a little idea about what it's like without Matt Ryan right now. Anyway, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I've definitely said this before. Matt Ryan was a huge part of our success, you know, for a lot of games, right? He was probably the biggest key component to us winning a lot of games, right? You know, obviously over the years he's declined, hasn't been as mobile, still has a good arm as much as possible. And, you know, he works with what he has and everything. But, you know, at a certain point, and I'm sure you can respect this as well, you know, you have to move on from your star players if you want to build a dynasty, right? Yep. So, respectively, I think that the Falcons are in the right direction. I think a lot of that has come in the last couple of years with management changes that were desperately needed. And just kind of seeing, you know, what the Falcons want to become and how they want to compete in a division that I guess has been a big question mark for a little bit, you know, other than the Saints, right? So,
yeah, the Saints have been, I mean, as much as we both hate them as respectively, we will give the respect where it's due. The Saints have kind of owned our division for the last little while. Yep. I don't even lie. Like, the only last 2 years have been any type of relevancy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that division. It's been between the Saints, the Panthers, and you guys for a long time here. You guys just drafted, though, like Mike Evans 2.0.
Yep.
We were talking about that. I even said, I'm like, you're either getting Sauce Gardner or you're getting Drake London. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. So let's talk a little bit about him. Again, obviously you don't have Matt Ryan. I think he's going to be good on the Colts, personally. May not be as mobile as you said, but I still think he's going to be great on the Colts there.
Oh, yeah.
But you got Drake London, this basically like 6'6", absolute monster, coming off an ankle injury. Got him at number 8 in the draft here. So tell us a little bit about him. What do you think his upside is going to be going into the future here with the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, the fact is that they drafted a wide receiver right off the bat. I don't really think they had much of a choice, with losing Calvin Ridley for the season, which was very unfortunate. And kind of who they had on their arsenal as well with Olamide Zaccheaus and Russell Gage. At best, they would have been wide receiver twos. And even then, like we need targets to throw to, right? So Drake London's a great fit. We need that versatile wide receiver as well to go deep and kind of take the pressure off of Kyle Pitts. So honestly, I think it was the right move. I'm kind of hoping maybe they add a little bit more senior or veteran wide receivers as well. Maybe we can pick one up in free agency, but it was a good signing. I would have been happy with Sauce Gardner too. Obviously, right, having that protection, but I don't think it was a bad first overall pick. Overall, actually, I think the Falcons did really well in this draft. So
AJ Terrell and Sauce Gardner was the one thing that I was talking about, obviously, at the beginning of the season. The Jets put an end to that. Like the Jets were like, and they took him at number 4. And so they didn't even get to have a chance or a sniff at him at number 8 there. But you did bring up Kyle Pitts there. That was the guy that you got at number 3 last year. And obviously a lot of people turned around and were like, why in the hell would a rebuilding team take a tight end at number 3? And even still, like I to this day, like when you look at it, I wonder it. But then when you actually look at the Atlanta Falcons, just without even talking about Kyle Pitts, and you say, what are the things that the Atlanta Falcons have to build on? It's Kyle Pitts and Drake London. We've obviously talked about Drake London. Was he worth the 3rd overall pick? And if he was, what do you see like out of this guy going forward? Is he a franchise tight end?
I think so personally. It's funny actually that you mentioned Kyle Pitts as well too, because I got into a little bit of a debate actually the other day about if he should be a top 5 tight end. And the thing is even though Kyle Pitts might not have the points necessarily right now to show it, he plays his position very well. And that's the thing is even seeing his first year in the NHL or NFL, sorry, he's unbelievable. Like he runs routes. They might not be completed necessarily, and that could be due to many factors, the offensive lineman, the quarterback. Like there's so many different scenarios, but Kyle Pitts is phenomenal. And I think he's going to be another, Kittle or Kelsey for years to come. I really do. Whether he stays on the Falcons or not is another, big question mark. But honestly, I think they're keeping him. I think they're going to build around him. And especially with Arthur Smith being the head coach, he's very, very tight end heavy, right? So.
And there was a video. I wish I would have saved it. Like I got to be able to find a way to save these videos a lot easier. But there was a video of a coach of a player talking about watching film and breaking down film with the offensive coordinator at the time of the Titans. And of course, being Arthur Smith. And he didn't say Arthur Smith until after, like later on, when one of the players asked him, like, which guy are you talking about? He said Arthur Smith. And it's basically as Arthur Smith is breaking down this tape, and he was never like necessarily criticizing him. And he's not necessarily like looking at him as if he's like a specimen, being like, okay, let's see what they can do kind of thing. He was looking at him like a player. What do you bring to the whole culture of a team? And then what do you bring to everything else around like the whole schematics and stuff like that? Because if you could bring a good culture, you could be molded into the man that is needed at the position is kind of what this guy was saying. And I personally love the Arthur Smith signing. Like I know a lot of people out there like, who the hell is this guy? His dad owns FedEx or whatever. Like, cool. So the rich guy gets an opportunity, but that's not necessarily it at all. I mean, Arthur Smith was, whether he was given an opportunity because he had more money or not, the man is smart as hell, and the man knows how to actually keep with it with some of the people who have not necessarily had money or people who have never had like an opportunity necessarily like he has and stuff like that. So it's talk a little bit more as well about Arthur Smith and why his decisions on, say, drafting Kyle Pitts and Drake London and stuff like that is going to lead to more success down the road.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Arthur Smith is an offense-heavy coach, right? Like he loves his tight ends, he loves his running backs, and he loves his wide receivers for sure. Like he did so many things on the Tennessee Titans, right? So that can't go without being noticed. Actually, kind of like reverting back to what you were saying about Todd Bowles too, right? Is you don't really know what a head coach is necessarily going to do until about like the 2nd or 3rd year in, because you're still dealing with the aftermath of previous coaches, right? So you don't really necessarily get to do what you want to do. Even though you might have a vision, you might not be able to act on that vision quite yet, right? So we're now just going to really start seeing what Arthur Smith is going to do and how he's shaping up the team. The offense is trending in the right direction. And I wouldn't be shocked if even in the next draft, whether we're high or low in the draft, we're going to go with offensive linemen. Like that's 100% that's where we're going to go.
Okay. I agree. I agree with you. My big hot take going into next season is if that Texas running back, the Bijan Robinson, ends up being as good as what everybody says, I just see Atlanta being like, you want to see the coolest offense of all effing time?
Yep.
Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. Then we can put Desmond Ridder in there and let him develop. Who the fuck cares? Kind of thing. That's kind of what I would see. But a defensive lineman would be really, really great there as well.
Oh, for sure. No, absolutely. But who's saying that we only have necessarily one first-round pick, right? Like, what if we do make like a blockbuster trade and we get another first-round pick? Maybe we pull a Detroit and we do that, right? Go with like another pass rusher and potentially, yeah, why not? Like, honestly, it could very possibly be that. And I do think at the same time, we were talking about quarterbacks previously, right?
Yeah.
With the next couple of years, it's going to be very quarterback heavy, right? There's a lot of good quarterbacks coming up. And the thing is especially considering, we're in the division with the Buccaneers, with the Carolina Panthers, and with the New Orleans Saints, pretty much everybody in that division right now has not solidified that they have their franchise QB going forward.
Yep.
And the thing is I do think Desmond Ridder could be that guy. I actually think that we're going to keep him, and I think he's going to be something special, right? But you got to take that into consideration. If he's doing what you want him to do, is he getting the numbers that you want him to get? Is he completing the passes that he should be completing, right? Because you're not going to let quarterbacks like Stroud, Young, or Manning just pass by if you're not 100% dedicated to that particular quarterback. So that's also a huge factor to play into it.
I love how you threw that Manning in there. I'm gonna clip that for one of these days too, because I swear to God, it's gonna be 2025 or 2026, and me, you, and like Sean's Commanders and, and Alex's Lions, for example, and we'll even throw Ash and the Steelers. I mean Cowboys. I just did that on purpose. And Sid and the Steelers. All of us have no franchise quarterback whatsoever, and all of a sudden it's just like an arms race between all of our teams to go after this Arch Manning that's out there. That would be fun. I'm not gonna lie, because I would congratulate any one of us and be like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
And you'd hate it at the same time, though.
I would absolutely hate it. I would hate that. Oh, yeah, I forgot this is my show. I would hate the fuck out of it, okay? I would absolutely. Arch Manning, the first overall pick to the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, my God.
Oh, I'd be so pissed.
Or now, okay, here's the thing. If it became the Dallas Cowboys, I wouldn't be pissed. I would literally be happy, because I would literally clip everything that I've said for the last 4 to 5 years leading up to it and be like, yo, ESPN, where's my job? They call me the fortune and future teller for a reason. Come on. I've been telling you Arch Manning's going to the Texans, to the Dallas Cowboys since he was drafted. Though,
watch him go to the Giants. And the Giants just have this big turning point. Turning point.
I have stated this before, and I'm going to state it again. I still think if Arch Manning's to get drafted, and because right now he picked Texas, so some billionaire out there knows that obviously he wants to make Texas a thing, because there's no state tax, there's the ocean and all that kind of stuff is right there near Houston and all that kind of stuff, but also near Austin, which has also been rumored to be a expansion team.
Yeah.
So I got no problem all of a sudden out of nowhere if we see the Austin Armadillos, as Madden likes to call them, which really pisses me off. I hate franchise mode in Madden. Let's not even get into that. We'll do that next week. Anthony Handy, write that down. We're doing that next week. But I can definitely see Arch Manning going to an Austin or something like that, which would be absolutely hilarious. Now, I want to get some of these comments here because I see them pile in here, which is really, really nice. The D is back after Kyle pops on. The irony, LOL. No daddy comments, by the way, Kyle. Got you before you can say it. That is true. He did.
It's true.
Did. Speaking of Anthony Handy, he says yes. Yes to the Kyle Pitts. Who is Atlanta's quarterback this year? That is Mariota?
I don't think for the full year. Nope.
Not for that. I know we have Kyle basically said that in the chat a while ago, and I still think he's right. If Desmond is ready to go, if he actually shows that he's a pretty damn good third round quarterback, I could see him out of nowhere just being like, watch me.
He'll be playing before the half season. I almost guarantee it. I think so.
Pitts definitely needs to improve on his blocking. I mean, a lot of tight ends need to improve on their blocking. Not everybody can be Gronk. Not everybody can be Tony Gonzalez. And definitely not everybody can be Antonio Gates. You see some of the pancake blocks that Antonio Gates has thrown out in his day. Holy.
Unbelievable.
Tim Bryce is back for his third year.
Oh, I think that's Bryce Young.
Oh, Bryce Young. Yes.
Yeah.
Because Stroud, Young. Oh my God, the Kentucky kid. The Kentucky kid, Richardson out of Florida. Because it's weird. This draft is going to have Richardson available in either the late first or the early second. He's going to be the next Lamar Jackson for everybody in the NFL. It just depends on who's actually going to do it. Jim Harbaugh decided to do it with actual Lamar Jackson, and look what happened. So we'll see what actually happens there. Pitts is a matchup problem. You're damn right.
Yeah.
You're damn right. Now, before we go any further, I wanted to ask this before we get a couple comments because it's a good transition into there. Another matchup problem for everybody out there for the Atlanta Falcons is when obviously he's not suspended. It's Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
So we both know Calvin Ridley's suspension is absolutely stupid. It is
Yeah, that's a tough one because they were banking on him too, right? And
I know.
It's a huge letdown.
So my thing is do you honestly see him being an Atlanta Falcon going forward after this season, or do you see him being traded because of his matchup ability that he has?
That's a tough one. I compared a lot to the NHL, right? So whenever a player has their contract year, right, especially with goalies, they perform because they're trying to show that they're still worth something, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what happens with Calvin Ridley as well, right? You have him for another year. You see what he does. He performs. He's amazing. He has good, he's a 1,000-yard season for that matter, right? Do you keep him? No, I think you trade him. Personally, I think you let him come back as a Falcon for another year. Yeah, you let him do what he's going to do. And then you see if you can get the most buck for the bang, right?
I think that's kind of buck, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think would be the best solution, especially with the way the team's going. Does Calvin really fit with the scheme? I don't know. He's kind of a high ego, right? He's like another OBJ in that matter, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I think you let him walk after a year, and maybe you can get hopefully a first-round pick, maybe a second.
Sure. For sure. Someone next draft at 15 or 16, if they don't get the Ohio State guy, I had his name, Nagata,
yeah. I think that's Nagata. What it is.
And then there's Cootie out there as well. And there's another one that I'm forgetting. But if none of those guys are available, because we all know it's going to be a freaking quarterback heavy draft respectively next year. So then, maybe one of those guys will end up falling into some of these guys' laps. And then some of these other teams will get desperate and be like, okay, well, I want Calvin Ridley then. Just like the Philadelphia Eagles did this year with A.J. Brown. They'd be like, well, not getting what I want, so.
I wonder too, and it's kind of funny. I wonder if the NFL is going to do something about it because knowing that Arch Manning is going to be coming in, right? It's like, okay, are they going to maybe put in a rule where teams can't tank if they look like they're tanking and then they lose their draft pick or something like that? Because a lot of teams are going to want it and they're going to be like, okay, whatever, we can lose this game. That's fine. Let's throw in our practice squad for this game and just kind of see what they're going to do and indirectly just tank the season, right? Is that going to be stopped?
I have thought about that as well because the Buccaneers have done it. A lot of these teams have done it where, they pulled starters or whatever to make sure that they get that ending win or that ending loss so that they are the first overall pick. Yeah, yep. I for sure can see someone's going to get penalized hard. And then some owner is just going to be already asking a year before that being like, what's the penalty when I do it? And Roger Goodell will be like, well, you can't do it. And be like, no, that's not what I said. I asked what's the penalty? Well, how much am I paying you to do this? And he's
what's the fine?
You can't do this. You're already getting fined. Just talking to me about that. He's like, I know that. Here you go. Now, what do I that's what's going to end up happening here. Falcon fans hope that Riddler doesn't see the field in 2022. Mary just needs to be solid to get through the season.
That's
now,
fair.
Don't get me wrong. I've still been on record stating that I have always wanted Mariota over Jameis Winston. I think he would have fit that system with Dirk Cutter a little bit better. That's just me. But it's Florida State kid. We were taking the Florida State kid. We were taking the Florida productive kid.
Yep.
That just made sense. I totally understand that. Alex Schomburg says, early morning show. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. I'm sure that was hard for you to click the button on this one. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just kidding. Alec and Ben actually do the NFL edition on Thursday nights there on Bucs Report and I think other places there. So give them a like and a share and a follow.
Yep.
They're always a good time to watch there. Ash says everyone getting Manning. You're getting a Manning. You're getting a Manning. And you're getting a Manning. All of a sudden, like Eli Manning's kid all of a sudden comes out of nowhere like, hi. And they're like, you are not. No. Get over there, Garth Manning. I don't want to see you. It's Arch and that's it.
Just be the biggest disappointment in the family.
And it'll be the Jags taking them at number 1 just so they can sell Manning jerseys.
Oh my God.
Actually, knowing actually us as Canadians, if we had a team at that point, we would literally just draft the Manning to sell jerseys because
100%.
It would pay for our season.
Absolutely.
Not a single person needs to be in the stands. We would have enough jerseys sold to pay for the entire season as the Toronto Huskies or the Toronto Blizzard or the Toronto North, which I'm not going to lie, I'm really, really on board with the Toronto North all of a sudden. Like, I don't know why.
You think that's the team? You think that'll be the team name?
I'm up to something, and I've heard some things, but I don't know if they're true, and I don't want to drop it live yet. You know what I mean? Until I know more. But you remember how the Eskimos with the Elks also have like the EE?
Yep.
Imagine like a winterized color style, but with a TT for like a Toronto, or for like a T and an N. Sorry, like a nice little thing there for like a Toronto North.
I like it, but at the same time, hear me out. Like, and again, I think this is where me and you have a little bit of a difference of opinion. I feel like the Toronto Argonauts and the CFL have honestly let down the CFL. Like, their fan base, in my opinion, does not deserve an NFL team. It makes sense. Like, it really does make sense to bring to Toronto, but I don't think they deserve it. Like, I really don't. Like,
if there was, and this is going to sound so dumb, if you had some sort of a speed train that connected Edmonton and Calgary to Regina, and you could take Winnipeg to get to Regina and Saskatoon to Regina, and you put an NFL team in Regina,
that makes sense.
It would work. It would literally work. You would have the entire hardcore fan base like us, like every Sunday home games, would be taking a train all the way down to Saskatoon or Regina.
100%.
110%. 1,000%. But they would never do it. They would never do it. And they would throw it in Toronto or Vancouver. But I have also agreed with you too.
But like, even if they do an expansion team, though, I guess like talking about that, like right now the teams are even in every division, right? So if you're bringing in an expansion team, then you're bringing in like what? Like another, what is it? 7 or 8?
As someone said, it would have to be 8 in order to break it down. But I think there's a way you could do it with 4. If you just split it into, instead of 4 divisions, you would have to make it 3.
Okay. Yeah. So you restructure the divisions then to make it work. Okay, that's potential, which would make sense because they should do it anyways. Because a lot of the divisions don't make sense in the NFL. So.
No, not at all. Not at all. Ben also says, hi, Alec, by the way. Ash also says, or thinks they are Manning in Texas for life. Dallas test. Yes, I know. Hi, Mr. Ben, Alex says as well. Sean Spencer says, we want Manning. Again, everybody wants Manning. It's 1,000%. Everybody wants Manning here. Can you pass the salsa, Ben? Lol. Don't lie, Kyle. You'll be jumping for joy in the Falcon if the Falcons draft him, Arch Manning.
Any team would
cry. Dude, he would cry. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, 100% I would. 100%.
I would literally be picking up Kyle from a bar and be like, we've already won the Super Bowl. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He'd be calling everybody who ever said 28-3 and be like, I'm already just getting prepared for the inevitable.
You know it, man. You know I'm holding it back.
Oh, yeah.
You know I'm holding it back. 100% I'm going to like everybody that's ever talked down to me about the Falcons. If I get Arch Manning, I will knock on doors. I will kick down fences, man.
Even if you won the Super Bowl, that's not even Arch Manning, but you're like, you won the Super Bowl. You'd be like, 28-3 this motherfucker.
It'll happen. I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen actually in the next 10 years.
You've been one of the teams that has never won a Super Bowl, like the Vikings and the Bills, who have always consistently been there in every sort of generation where one time you get a shot at it. You know what I mean? You're not necessarily the Bengals who do it every 50 years. You're not the Jaguars. You're not necessarily the Houston Texans or some of the newer teams and stuff like that. You are a respected franchise, and you're getting your Super Bowl in our lifetime. And like I promised Alex there, when his Lions inevitably sometime win their Super Bowl, I will pick you guys up and I will be your chauffeur because I understand we were under COVID restrictions and nobody could have came to my house and stuff like that. I 1,000% that. But the amount of calls and messages I got the second that I won the Super Bowl, man, everybody was in my basement with me. Like, it was awesome.
I felt the love for you, man. I felt the love for you that day.
I woke up the next day and I was out for blood. I'm like, oh, by the way, I got people to message. Hold the fuck on.
So I guess another thing too that I wanted to bring up is like, I know a lot of people are saying that, the Falcons should have went defense heavy. I honestly think that right now, and like to me, it's not even really comparable. I think we have probably the top pairing of cornerbacks in the league. I do.
You?
Yep. Casey Hayward and AJ Terrell. I think they're unbelievable, man. I think they're gonna be unstoppable. I really do.
Okay, so I've heard you say this before, and I've been trying to think of like who would even come close. Like, people throw out Baltimore, and I like Marlon Humphreys, but like he's not. My one has always been Miami. I like Miami's core personally when it comes to like the cornerback. But you're not wrong, because like Casey Hayward's what, 28, 29?
Yep.
And
then what? Terrell's like 22.
And Terrell is underrated as hell. Like, Terrell is a really, really, really good cornerback. And I did not understand how good AJ Terrell was until I looked at the stats. And I'm like, this kid's doing this in like his first and second year. What the fuck? And you know how you develop? You go up against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And I was going to say Michael Thomas, but he hasn't existed for like 2 years. Christian McCaffrey, I guess, and DJ Moore. Like, okay. I might give you that one. I would have to, like, I got to see how Miami plays out this year, but like, Casey Hayward, you guys just signed him out of nowhere too, right?
Yeah, him, and then also we got Rashawn Evans too, right? That's also a big signing too.
That's right. Yeah, you guys did pretty damn good in the offseason. So with regards to that, what do you actually think is going to be your Falcons' end record this year?
I think it's going to be, it'll be a 50-50. It'll be close to that. I think it's either going to be an 8-9 or 9-8. That's what I kind of think right now.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is going to come like within the division. I do think that I think we either split the Bucs or we get swept, but I think we sweep the Panthers, and I also think that potentially we're going to sweep the Saints. I actually think the Saints are on a decline. I really do.
I hate being caught on camera saying that I disagree with your take on the Saints, because I think the Saints are actually going to be like a wild card team, and I hate saying that. I hate it. It puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I just want to pull out my tooth when I say it. I really hate it. But no, you're like, here's the thing with the Atlanta Falcons. Last year they showed out of nowhere, I think it was halfway through the season, that they were still technically in like contention.
Right until like the second last week?
Yeah, like they were still there. So Mariota like proved that he can do really, really good with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm not necessarily sold on people saying that Mariota's not going to do anything with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, he did things for the Tennessee Titans. He put the Tennessee Titans in the position that they're in right now.
Yep.
So it's kind of rude to say that. So like, I agree. Your Atlanta Falcons are going to be a lot different than a lot of people think. So, got a couple more comments in here. Think how mad fans would be. Another reason to hate the Cowboys.
Oh God, yeah. I couldn't even.
You want a new stadium first? I don't know if he's talking about like Toronto.
Maybe.
You don't need a new stadium.
No, brand new. Beautiful
and
stadium.
Ash don't need no new stadium either. The Bucs need a new stadium.
Raymond James is pretty nice though, so I don't know. Like, I liked it.
I guess I forgot. yeah. You lucky bastard. Listen. I've already said after 2024, like it depends on how much say cash and time I have. I know me and Kim are going to probably drive down to Detroit. I might just say, fuck it, take another 2 weeks off and just go drive down to Tampa at that point. Just so
you're going to need a lot of sunscreen though, man. Like, honestly, like it's hot, dude. It's hot.
I know. Especially someone said don't go down in May and June. I'm like, well, why?
That's when I want to go down.
Yeah. Ash says giant snow. Well, I mean, that would kill your whole division. Yeah.
Yep.
And that would really suck for the Giants too, having to like the whole Eli and then Arch, even though they would be like, okay, we can put one of these Mannings in the Hall of Fame now. Hey, there we go. Okay, cool. Yep. No one's going to bitch about that. Where's the chips? It should be on the table. They're just having a full-on conversation in the chat there about chips and stuff like that. Do you guys have a party and just like go get the chips, bro? Like, crap, working and listening. What are we doing next time?
What's going on, Mr. Handy?
Oh, Tim said Alabama. I got you. Don't work and watch podcast, kids. Anthony, I appreciate you tuning in. I also apologize to Anthony because I told him Saturday. And I was wrong. And he comes on he just messaged me like 20 minutes before the show. He's like, bro, is it tomorrow? So I go through the chat. I'm like, I thought I said Friday. I was like, shit. Sorry. I ruined it. I know. I'm a bad person. Van Dyke, Miami quarterback, is one that I am watching this year. That is for sure. Heard really placed a bet that Watson would get suspended less than games. He lost a lot of money on that possibly. Yeah. Will Levis is the quarterback that I personally want. I think Will Levis is going to be like possibly the next Josh Allen. So we'll see what happens with that.
Pretty big shoes to fill if that's the case. Jesus.
Jags are technically tanking now. Trevor's contract, I believe, ends right when Arch is eligible for the NFL.
You know what, though? Like, maybe this is just a hot take. I don't think the Jags or the Jets are going to be in a conversation. Actually, I don't even think the Lions are going to be in that conversation.
The Lions maybe just because I think they'll have enough picks where one of them, because you got to understand next year, like this next upcoming draft, I think there's 4 teams that have 2 first overall picks kind of thing. And the best chance to have 2 top 5 picks is if Houston ends up having, it's Houston, because if Cleveland doesn't get Deshaun Watson for the full year, they're obviously not going to do that great. So, but yeah, like someone with a couple of these picks could like trade out a couple of times. And I also actually agree with you. I think the Jets and the Jags are going to be some of these like playoff contending teams coming up here in the next little bit for sure.
Well, exactly. 1,000%. How long can you go without a quarterback, though? And that's really the question, right? Like the Jags have their quarterback. The Jets think they have their quarterback. Yep. And then also like the Lions, I don't see the Lions sitting 3 years with Goff and not getting a quarterback. Like I don't see that happening.
Like, do you actually think that Detroit would wait until 2024 to draft their quarterback so they could do it in front of all their fans when you have the opportunity next year to get one of these guys already?
It's just, I don't know. Like, you know what? It's sad as it is to say, you look at other teams that have, like, for example, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe the Green Bay Packers end up getting Manning, which would be such a slap in the face.
Oh, my God.
But honestly, it's something to consider. Like, can these teams wait this long to get their quarterback?
This is a good point. Yeah. Because some of these teams, sorry, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because the thing is a lot of people are like, yeah, it would make sense to go here and there. But realistically, if you wait that long to get that quarterback, whether it is Detroit, like New York, or like Jacksonville, you honestly are going to lose all of your management. People will get fired. Like it's not going to happen. And the NFL won't let it happen either. And I don't think people realize that.
Yeah, the NFL is not just going to let some of these teams tank for it. Like that is 1,000% sure. Though, and the hardest part about it though is because it's a Manning. Like it's an actual Manning. Just the name Manning on the jersey that you own sells.
But then a Brady too. Brady's son. It'll be the same thing. It'll be the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
You're damn right, because I was the one that even stated before the whole
Brady son. Breeze son.
Okay, now here's the thing. If Breeze ever comes to the Bucs, I ain't buying that jersey either. Like, fuck him. But Brady's a different story. I did say fuck Brady. I don't ever want him on the Bucs. And now I couldn't see my life without having Brady on the Bucs. So like I can see that for sure. Alex says Desmond Ridder gives me Kane Brown vibes.
Jesus.
Frank Ornette says thank you, Mr. Faubert. Edmonton Arches.
I love an Edmonton team. Oh my God, that'd be phenomenal.
I mean, if we're not gonna get the damn freaking soccer,
that was so upsetting. And you know what? It's so dumb because, well, I guess it's not that bad. Really,
I understand.
Considering Toronto and Vancouver are both big soccer cities. Like Vancouver, by far, is the biggest soccer city pretty much in Canada. Like, it makes sense. It does. Like, I hate it.
See, and this is where the problem that, like, and for anyone of our American friends who want to know kind of like where we go on this, the big problem in Canada with selling a football market or even a soccer market is you got to go to Vancouver or Toronto, whereas the soccer fucking purists live in Edmonton and the football purists live in Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. But they're not going to throw teams there. Like, and they're not going to throw international games there. I mean, they
100% right, man. You're 100% right.
We get these weird, cool international games where when we score, you got our players jumping in the snowbanks, and everybody else in the world, like when they play for Qatar and Mexico, are like, we got to go up there and play in snow. I don't want to fucking play in snow. It's like I also don't want to play in like 145 degree weather in Qatar either. But
it's not that bad if you realistically think about it too. Like, sure, we play in snow, but I'll take snow over rain. I'll take snow over like plus like 50 heat. I'll take
1,000%.
I'll take snow over a lot of different weather conditions, in my opinion.
Dude, if you told me like if the Edmonton Elks were playing a game and it was supposed to be blizzarding, I would pay the $40 for that game in a heartbeat.
I saw like the Grey Cup in like a blizzard, like when it was here. Yeah, it was snowing like crazy.
My first ever game when I went live and someone came up with the whole idea of Fun with Foobs back in the day. I was like, yeah, okay. I was live at the stadium for that. So people would have too much fun with the name Regina. Oh, you have no idea.
Oh my God.
Remember the song? Like the Jane Dan Regina. Regina.
That's what they come out to.
Oh my God.
You know, that's one thing I'm going to give some credit to the CFL for is I don't know if you've noticed in the last, I think year, maybe 2 years, they mock the other team when they come out and they play a different song or whatever, some kind of like hysterical song for the team to walk out to.
Yeah,
It's
they
so
do.
funny, man.
They do. Yes, they do. I will give them that. I am going to go to a couple of games here soon, but I obviously just spent a lot of my money for the end of July because I'm going to a concert and I'm going to party. And then I obviously know one of my shows, I think my show will be on while I'm doing it because I am eventually going to switch the days depending on what happens at work.
Nice.
And stuff like that. But yeah, so that'll be fun. Deshaun Watson playing for Regina would be great. Oh my God. There's so many jokes that this I just laughed out loud at work if the Falcons get Manning is going off. I'm glad that this is actually being heard for a good crowd of people to hear us talk about this. So a bunch of Canadians and oh my goodness gracious, don't you look absolutely fantastic. Can you not do that while I'm on live?
See, 2026. That's what I mean, man. Like that's Handy saying it like proud. Like any team could get it. Any team could get it. Honestly, if anything, the teams that signed their franchise quarterbacks recently, that's what I'd be worried about.
1,000%. I'll be there if the Falcons win it. I'll be there for you, Yacey. I'll be an honorary Falcons fan. I think me and Kyle have kind of talked about that respectively with regards to like everybody's team.
Yeah.
Like, no offense. Okay, Sid, this goes to you, Sid. You've had success and you've had a lot of success. Okay. You win the Super Bowl, Ash is taking care of you. Okay. Me and Kyle might try and get down there for you, but like you've won the Super Bowl. Okay. Yep. Like it's happened in your lifetime multiple times. Okay. If Sean wins the Super Bowl, I might have to fly down to go see Sean. Or if he's even going to the Super Bowl, I might have to fly down for Sean.
Party in Washington.
Yeah. Ash, you got Sid. Okay. We're all going to probably be live and come see you afterwards because your whole cowboy thing, but same type of thing. Like your team's good enough. It's won enough Super Bowls. We're just going to like, oh, the Cowboys won because we're going to hear it for like years. We will. But then like the Lions, you think I'm not picking up Alex wherever the hell he needs to go? He'd be like, drive me here.
Wrong tank.
Drive me here. Him and his sister. Him. Oh my God. Oh yes, the whole Loosemore family would be driving around and they would just be like, we got people's houses we need to go to. Here's the list. Let's go. You.
Oh man. Oh man. And you know what? The funny thing is I don't think people realize, like, even though I'm a Falcons fan, I would say my second team in the division is Bucs. Honestly, I love the Bucs. I've never had an issue with them. You know, prior to Brady being here, after Brady, I have no hate for the Bucs.
I hate your
whatsoever.
Fuck your Falcons. Look at this. 6-11 Falcons in 22. I have them 7-10 right now. I have them.
That's fine. You know what? I remember when we were on last year, and everyone's like, "Yeah, four in like what was it? 4-12 or 4-13." I'm like, you guys are delusional, man. Delusional.
I like this though by Alec. I was talking about the dumpster they call FedEx.
All right, that's fair.
So he was talking about Atlanta's stadium. That's hilarious.
Jesus.
Why is this so accurate though? Detroit is dumb if they wait. They're almost there, just a quarterback away. So
That's what I
that
mean.
I think Alex is kind of in the same thing. That's why Alex was like really like, I do not want Malik Willis at number 2. And we were like laughing. We're like, Detroit's gonna do it. And he's like, no, like it's not gonna happen. So I agree. But here's the thing, because Alex says that Detroit's going to be a lot better. Everybody says Detroit's going to be a lot better.
I think Detroit's going to be a lot better. I think Detroit potentially, depending how they play, they could actually do really well in that division. I'm not going to lie.
Detroit was 4-11 or 4-13 last year, right?
But how close were they? That's what, you're right. You're right. But how close were all those games?
I'll give them 2 extra wins, but that means they're going to have the 7th overall pick, and then they got no franchise quarterback. This team.
Who's going to draft a quarterback though? Like right off, like typically a quarterback's not going to go that early. I know it's a quarterback heavy, draft next year, but at the same time, like
Seattle, Carolina, if they got 1st and 2nd, there goes Bryce Young to Seattle and then Stroud to Carolina. And I'm not going to be happy if Stroud goes to Carolina. That's for damn sure.
They're just a quarterback away. That's the tough part about Carolina. Like that's the only thing that's really stopping them at this point.
And then look at this. Dallas needs a QB.
I'll take Dak on a different team. I'm fine with that.
I would take Dak. Are you kidding me? Hells yeah. I think any of us in the NFC South would take Dak. Like, Cowboy fans have got it too good. Like, oh, we need to do this and to do that. Not saying you, Ash. Not saying you. We're just saying other Cowboy fans. Because, like, we joke. They are essentially the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, they 100% are.
Of the
100%
NFL.
They are.
Except, like, Ash is respectable. I'll give her that. But, like, Sid's got to, like, come in there and sometimes be like, oh, I mean, But, like, Dallas doesn't need a quarterback. And Dak is amazing, and Dak should stay for life. So, Dak is gone once Jerry Jones known back. Well, I think we all know that, too. I think his contract is up when Manning is available, too. So, it comes down to markets. Toronto and Vancouver are the 2 biggest medias and I know, Ben. You've said this 1,000 times now, and I agree. It doesn't make it less painful, though. All right?
No, exactly.
It doesn't make it less painful. What? Yeah. Sorry, she's asking if I want a coffee. I'm like, yeah. Hells yeah. Yeah, I want coffee. Should be called the Magic the Regina Magic.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Regina shaved ice as their NFL.
What if it did happen that CFL did merge with the NFL?
I think CFL would merge with like XFL and USFL. I think if in a couple of years the USFL and the XFL all actually stapled some sort of groundwork, I could find some way that they would make it work. I could see some way that they would finally make it work. They may not do like the full like 3 down thing in the CFL. It might be one of those things where if you play a Canadian home game, it might be different rules. It might be something so weird that we've never seen. Yeah. But I can see respectively something like that happening soon, only because The Rock has basically said it. And I've been given some information that would kind of lead towards something kind of like that, which again, I can't say.
Ooh.
So I've had that information for a while, and I'm waiting for the next part of the information so I can say more, but I can't. So, but when you come over, I'll show you the email.
Yeah, please do.
If Washington wins it, I'm done for like a month. Oh, dude. I think we all know that too. And that we would be able to come down and see you in that month. So, Sean, you'll be an honorary Falcons fan for the fall when those birds come to Landover and lay that lumber. Oh, Zagnif Productions in the house. Last year, he was going through a crisis because he said, I don't know what it's like to be mediocre.
Oh, my God.
Sid just being the guy at the table being like, I don't know what it's like to be you guys. Like, I really don't. I really don't.
On top. Like,
yeah. I'm Mike Tomlin in this bitch.
Let me go to my third dining room.
Right? In that upset victory. I mean, yeah. They haven't won a Super Bowl since I've been born. I don't know what it feels like. So then that's for you. That's different then. Yeah. And a couple other fans out there. I'll give them that. My fiance wouldn't know what to do. She's from Detroit. She wouldn't believe it. I think a lot of people from Detroit would be that too. I think a lot of people around the world, if Buffalo and Detroit even get like close to like get into a Super Bowl, they would probably start like just watching games and everyone would start pulling out like how the Detroit Lions went to the Rams this year type thing. It would be something like that for sure.
Oh, I agree 100%, especially after the Bills having those like three-peat of no Super Bowl wins, right? Like,
yep. All right, we're going to take one more quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk a quick little Dynasty talk for the last 20 minutes of the show, and then a quick Red Wings update. What?
I love
commercial time. See you in a few. Welcome back. Sorry, I had something in my throat, obviously. I don't know what happened. Welcome back to North Sports Dynasty. I am your host, Andrew Bear. Joined with my guest today, the Atlanta Falcon fan from Canada here, Mr. Yacey. Say hi to everybody again.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
They all say hi. We are about to do a quick little segment here. A Dynasty segment. We're just going to go through some of these spotter drops here. Some of the guys that are currently sitting in the waiver wire and that are available to you right now. So let's get right into it. Yeah, I got a lot of new videos. I like it.
I love it. I love the enthusiasm behind them. You do them all yourself or what?
Yeah, there's a couple little apps that I was using for them and stuff like that. And there's some music that are free to use and stuff like that. But also, I got another artist, the guy who helped, who's in our Dynasty group there, Craig Hardy. Nice. His other band's got some other heavier like metal stuff there. And I got a couple of his songs downloaded and I'm working on a couple of other videos for that as well. So quick, just the top 5 that are going in right now. Spotter drop Mark Ingram, the New Orleans Saints running back right now.
I would drop.
You say drop? I'm going to say spot only if Alvin Kamara ends up getting the 6-game suspension. I wouldn't keep him obviously for
that's my reasoning too, to be honest. Is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, and then a lot of people are like, oh, what about Tony Jones? I'm not sold on Tony Jones. Cade Otton, the Tampa Bay tight end that we just drafted, I'm going to spot.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. I don't think we really have a choice.
Cameron Brate moves over to the Gronk side of things where he's going to see a lot of attention in the middle of the field. That red zone targets are going to go to Cade now. That's just the way it is. Just like when Gronk was double teamed essentially in the red zone, Cameron Brate was open. So that's what I agree on with that. Me and him agree on that as well. Number 3, Mateo Durant, the running back for Pittsburgh. This is an interesting one. What do you got?
I'm gonna go drop. The fact of having Najee Harris there and just how spectacular he's been. Like Najee's gonna see a lot of runs. Maybe they'll alternate with him, but I don't know. It's hard when you have like pretty much the number 1 running back in the league. So
1,000%. I'm actually going to say spot, but with a caveat.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna have to put that spot.
That's pretty creative. I like that.
With a caveat. We got 2 new ones that I might have to put on a shirt now. The D is back in town. And spot with a caveat. I'm gonna say spot with a caveat only because he may actually be able to be the backup running back in Pittsburgh by the time the regular season comes around. I know Snell, a lot of people want. There's a reason why Snell's being tossed at me in trade offers right now. Thank you, Jose. I'm not going to take it. So the whole Manteo Durant one, I'm going to say spot with a caveat. Whereas if you have the bench space to just throw at grabbing one and he's available, I would do it. If you have to drop someone in order to do it, don't do it. Wait until training camp is over. Number 2, Eno Benjamin, the running back out of Arizona. Chase Edmonds being gone. Does he take over that role? Kyle, you got spot or drop?
Drop. And I'm only going on previous history. You know, he hasn't had a spectacular last couple of years. I know personally having him on my team, on my bench, and never pulled him. I wouldn't pull him this season.
I wasted a 4th-round rookie pick on him before, and I've dropped him, and I've been able to get him in the waiver wire all over again. So technically, I would say spot, but it is also a drop for me. If you don't have the roster space to do it, don't pick him up. I would just leave it be right now. Wait to see what happens a little bit more in training camp. Again, if you're one of those people who has roster spots available to take a chance on flyered running backs or possible starters of wide receivers, absolutely do it. But if you're one of these guys like me, who kind of you're full on your roster and you're kind of set up for the championship run ahead of time, I would drop. And the number 1 guy that's currently sitting there right now, Juwan Jennings, the wide receiver out of San Francisco, who would technically on the roster chart be your 3rd option. Kyle, what do you got for spot or drop?
Actually, I'm going to go spot on this one. I definitely will. I think San Francisco's going to make some different plays, you know, considering the last couple seasons they've had where they've had pretty successful seasons. So I think he's going to see a lot of time. I think he's a good person to have on your bench and pull out when, you know, you need him. I'd absolutely think he's a spot.
I agree, because I'm looking at the NSD LTF Dynasty League right now, and he is available, the only one available out of the 5 that we were talking about. Me talking about it as well. My team is I have too many players that I do not want to give up on my bench right now.
Same. I know the feeling.
Where I'm not going to be dropping any of those guys, because I also got lucky on getting a few of these rookies in the draft, and I also got lucky with catching a couple of these tight ends in the free agency. So if you are weak at the wide receiver position, I would spot them, especially, and this becomes a weird one, especially if Trae Young actually ends up getting the starting position week 1 or week 2.
Yep.
It's never going to be the number 1 wide receiver you think that ends up getting the reps. It's usually the one that he's been sitting there being the backup with in training camp, repping with. And Juwan Jennings would be his number 1.
Trey Lance should be starting. Like he should be starting this season. And honestly, I would be shocked if he doesn't. Like, they should move on from Jimmy Garoppolo already. Like, he's got to be the number 1. You got to give the guy a chance, or else you got to move on from him.
And if you're in a flex league, like we had just officially turned ours at the end of last year. Now
it's this upcoming season.
Yeah, we're into the super flex, and you have Trey Lance in that super flex position, like myself, and you're nervous because obviously everybody values quarterbacks a lot differently the last 2 years.
100%.
You're really, really hoping that he does become the starting position, because there's definitely no reason for me to trade a 1st rounder for freaking Garoppolo there, Brad. I'm not doing it.
What if Garoppolo ends up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Maybe that's the answer.
So to be honest with you, I think that clip with Julian Edelman about Garoppolo may actually hinder his ability to go to some of these teams just because of some of the players that are on there. It may sound stupid, but I think some of these players would be like, yo, man, if Jimmy Garoppolo is a bitch, I don't want him on my squad. And Tampa Bay's got a roster now of champions. Like,
yeah, they do.
If Devin White gets paid, he's going to be the leader in that clubhouse, and he's not going to want no pussy quarterback. And Tom Brady ain't no pussy quarterback. So
no, definitely not.
Last thing we got on the docket here, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Remember to give a like and a share and a follow, North Sports Dynasty. Give Kyle Yacey a follow as well. He is up on a bunch of shows on not only North Sports Dynasty, he's my Falcons analyst, but he's on Let's Talk Football all the time as well, and on a bunch of other shows coexisting across the interwebs throughout the world. Now,
being a social media sleuth.
Basically, trying to grow what we got, man.
Absolutely,
now,
man.
That being said, we have a little hockey talk here to finish it off for the last about 9 or 10 minutes here.
I love it.
Cal being Oilers, me being Red Wings, as you can see from my Steve Yzerman little shrine I got here. My Buccaneers, sorry, I was going to say Lightning.
Red Wings?
Lightning. Thank you. The Red Wings have officially brought in their new head coach in Derek Lalonde, the assistant from the Tampa Bay Lightning, over to be the 28th head coach in franchise history. I am so happy I don't have to say Blashill's fucking name anymore. Oh my goodness gracious.
The Red Wings are doing things right, man. They honestly are. Like they're building in the right direction. Like there's a lot of respect going that way, that's for sure.
And the best part is last year we brought in Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider, and they both played really, really great with some of the players that we got in there already. This year we bring in Edvinsson, who is essentially 6'5", 6'6", plays just like Seider, also has a bit of an attitude and has a little bit more of a forward presence to him as well. But also this Soderblom dude is 6'8" left winger.
Oh my God.
Like I have a Chara that can score. Like what happened? So
but like what's his speed? What's his
he's like not saying like crazy speed. He's like Moritz Seider or like a Mantha back in the day just coming in. Like he can set the play, move the body. Like I am so happy that this team is looking good. I'm happy that we drafted the Fort. I say Fort Sask kid. He's a Fort McMurray kid, but he played in Fort Sask for 3 years here in Sebastian Cossa. I am just so happy that this team is finally drafting in the right place. We got the 8th one up this year. I don't necessarily know who we're going to pick. I don't even know if we're actually going to like be for very long. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we might trade back. We might say screw it. We might got a couple other picks. We might actually allow teams to come up because we want picks for next year's draft, which is inevitably the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. I've been happy. I want Bedard. I want to be bad for one more season. And I'm not even saying that. We could just barely make the playoff or barely miss the playoffs. And then just get that weird lottery thing where like the Red Wings get the first overall pick from like the 14th worst odds. Please, we've been screwed over so many times.
I don't see it happening, man. Honestly, you know it's not going to happen, right?
It's going to the Coyotes or the Kraken.
Yeah, something along the lines of that. Honestly, a lot of respect for the Red Wings. They're doing a lot of things right. It's funny because we're getting the aftermath now of Holland over in Edmonton, right? So no, they're definitely picking up the pieces that were scattered or shattered in Red Wings, where the Red Wings had no farm team, right? Like they literally threw it all on when Datsuk and Yzerman were all on the ice, and like there was nothing in the farm, right?
Nope.
And that sucks. I've been there, and the Oilers are very close to that, very close.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I will say, I guess, is I think the Oilers if they had a goalie, I think we're going to be phenomenal, man. Like straight up, like
I agree.
The fact that Broberg's coming up, Niemelainen's coming up, Holloway's coming up, like these are all people that are going to be starting next year.
Yeah, these are all good players for the Edmonton Oilers. I've even said I was watching the press conference today for Derek Lalonde for the Red Wings. We were talking about some of the players in the chat there. Kate was in there as well, talking with some of the fans of the Red Wings, and I even said if the COVID restriction would pass up, or if the dude would get his damn vaccination. Yep. We all know in Red Wings land that more than likely Todd Bertuzzi is going to get traded at the deadline next year, or he's going to get traded in this offseason for a package that's going to be just absolutely fantastic.
He should, honestly, absolutely.
And the one place that I think that he would actually flourish the most and take that team over the hump and actually do good on is the Edmonton Oilers.
That'd be unbelievable. I'd love to have Bertuzzi with us.
If you allowed your second line to literally just be like an Evander Kane, a Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman, who all were actually starting to play really, really good together in the playoffs.
Yep.
And you allow Todd Bertuzzi and Draisaitl and McDavid to be your front line, you are looking at pure domination that you can literally fill your third and fourth lines with that wouldn't be doing as good as, say, some of the other guys in there with like 5th and 6th round picks.
But what are you giving? What is Edmonton giving for Bertuzzi? That's the real question, right?
So if you wanted my honest, to be honest, I think it would end up being something down the lines of either one of two. There would be one of two trades. It would either be their first round pick for next year.
Okay, I can see that.
Which every single team does not want to give up, because if they have one bad injury and they end up getting in the sweepstakes for Connor Bedard, like that, and nobody wants to give that up, obviously.
Yeah, he's going to be so good.
He's going to be fucking great. And that's why I'm like, I want him. It would either be a first round pick for next year and a second round pick the year after, because I'm looking at the Mantha pick. What was off there. So it would be a first round pick this year, a second round pick next year, maybe even a third round pick from like this year with the first rounder.
Okay.
You would have to give up Holloway.
Okay.
And then at that point, you're either looking at a Stuart Skinner or a Dylan McLeod.
I personally think that's too much.
And that's the problem, is because of the other trades that have happened already, like last season, the Mantha trade and stuff like that. That's what the asking price would be. And I know Edmonton fans would be like, Holland, don't you trade with the Red Wings, and don't you dare do that.
There's no issue with that.
No. Or the second side of it would be is the Oilers would have to give up the 2022 and the 2023 first, the 2022 second, the 2023 second, and then Holloway.
I don't know, man. Honestly,
it sucks, though, right?
I like Bertuzzi. Like, don't get me wrong, and I think he'd be amazing on our second line. As much as I could see it happening, I think there's bigger holes to fill. I also think that at the end of the Edmonton, contracts with Draisaitl and McDavid, they're both not going to be here. I think we keep one,
okay,
and I think the other one's going to be for a very, very big package.
Interesting.
I do see that happening. I guess what is it, another 3 years? I think something like that is Draisaitl and McDavid's contract.
I think that's what it would be, yeah. And I can see the one team in 3 years doing it being Toronto. Like if Toronto doesn't win a cup and stuff like that, they'd be like, do you know what? Do you want Matthews? Like, do you want some of our defensemen? Like, what do you want? Just give us McDavid and call it a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny you say that too, because I think Draisaitl is going to be the one to stay actually too.
I do too. And I think if you, it's the whole, and it's funny because I'm going to say this guy's name because he's also been brought up in trade talks today. I was looking at it a little bit hard. Is Evgeny Malkin.
Yep.
Draisaitl is essentially Evgeny Malkin. Malkin put up 119 points, I think, by himself when Sidney Crosby got injured, and he lost in the first round of the playoffs. Okay. And then all of a sudden Crosby came back. Like they gave him reinforcements and stuff like that. And then they went and won Stanley Cups.
Yep.
Y'all don't think that you can give Pittsburgh a first round pick because they inevitably need to rebuild, and you give him a 3-year contract. Like Los Angeles has Kopitar. They're still winning off of their old Stanley Cup days.
The Kings just got who did they just get to? They just got
Fiala from Minnesota.
Yeah, didn't they just get Fiala?
Yeah, and my whole question is Minnesota. What is Minnesota doing?
Oh man, I have no idea because they give up one of their best players now. I don't understand what has happened.
Like, and I understand that they're built. I understand that they're built like for a while here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, your 2 first-round picks aren't going into starting players. They're going into draft. Like they're going into players to be into the team in a couple of years. Like they got Jesper Wallstedt last year because, no offense, Edmonton fucked up.
Oh my God. I'm still angry about that. I was so mad. I was screaming at my TV. I'm like, this is it. This is what you're going to do. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, looking at Xavier Bourgault, I'm very happy to get him because, honestly, the funny thing is if something's going to happen in the offseason, I'm going to call it right now. You can pin this on your show. Bourgault is getting traded for something big.
Ooh, I can see that too, yeah.
That's going to happen in the offseason, I think. I see it happening for sure.
Out of all the prospects, they beat him, I can see that too. And then lastly, before we go here, just quickly on the Oilers there and stuff like that, to agree with Kyle there, I also see them probably, sending not necessarily a package that everybody thinks is how crazy it would be, but McDavid is probably going to be gone in 2 or 3 years, just from my guessing, if they don't start succeeding now. But I can also see them going after some of these good players to fit on the first and second row, on the first and second line, to at least give them a chance. So.
Yep, I totally agree. And who knows, maybe in a year or two, we'll be in talks of the Red Wings playing the Oilers in one of the conference finals or something like that, right?
3. Next year, bad. The year after that, in my opinion, go for playoffs. the third year need to be in the playoffs in order for anything of this whole Yzerman thing to stick, in my opinion. Because like I'm all for trust the process because of what I just saw Colorado go through for 8 years and inevitably get. So I don't care if it takes 8 years. You want to build Soderblom and Sider and Raymond and Berggren and Veleno and Kosa and Nedeljkovic and Larkin and Bertuzzi and
so many,
like
man.
All
so
these,
many.
and then there's other prospects that I can't even say their names that they're also really good. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, like if you want to build this team, be my fucking guest. So,
well, now you got your head coach too, right? You got your head coach now too. It's funny because I think right now, and it's I guess going back to what you were saying too with Edmonton, I see them going potentially to a final actually either next year or the year after is what I'm thinking is going to happen. Yeah. But also I think that if Edmonton doesn't sign a goalie, especially with all the news and rumors going on with Mike Smith not coming back and going on LTIR, I think whether you want to see what Holland's going to do, Holland is 100% on the hot seat if he does not pick up a goalie in the offseason. It's not even really an option at this point.
You're not going to get 27 years in Detroit or in Edmonton like you got in Detroit, Holland.
No.
It's just not going to happen. Last couple comments that were in here. That's inaccurate. The Cowboys have at least advanced past the first round since 2004. Maple Leafs is a bad comparison, in my opinion. That is the comment of the day, in my opinion. A lot of Maple Leaf fans are going to hate seeing that. It'll eventually be like the NFL is the WWE and the CFL, XFL are like WCW and ECW. The invasion will happen. Oh, I love it. Wow, look at that. An hour and a half right on the nose.
Beauty.
As we basically said it would happen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Kyle, tell everybody where they can find you yet again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm definitely on Facebook. You can search up my name, Kyle Yacey. I'm also stopping by on North Sports Dynasty. Let's talk football. Yeah, just give me a shout, private message me, and we'll talk some football and some hockey.
Hells yeah, brother. Thank you for being on here, and we will see you again next week, brother.
See you guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. I got to get my ass all the way to work because I got to go do the big Canada Day rush. Oh, my goodness gracious. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the follows. I think we're 7 followers away from breaking 200 on the North Sports Dynasty page. So get your friends to like it. Because when we get the 200th follower, we're going to be giving the t-shirt giveaway. That's right. We'll be giving at least one t-shirt away when we hit the 200th follower on the North Sports Dynasty Facebook page. And, of course, when we hit 100 followers on YouTube, we'll be doing a bigger, better giveaway. Oh, my God, you guys are not going to want to miss what is happening this season. Thank you all for being here. Much love again to Kyle Yacey, the Atlanta Falcons fan. Next week, we'll be tuned in with Anthony Handy, another Atlanta Falcons fan, to kind of break down the Falcons a little bit more, but also to talk a little bit about the SEC and what will be going down in the NCAA this year. Much love, everybody. Thank you for being here. We will talk to you again soon. Goodbye.